Okay, good. Then welcome everyone and good afternoon. And thank you, Margot, for the invitation and my summary of my life in 5 minutes. So that was very good. So I'm working at VIB Training and Conferences, and I'm also affiliated with VIB Technologies. So that's the group of people of core facilities who are supporting our researchers in their tasks. Now, I have one example, two examples I very shortly want to share with you, why we have been very happy to be on these COFUND calls of two, in this case, successful applications. One of them is from EMBL, so the European Molecular Biology Lab in various institutions. The main institution is in Heidelberg, so in Germany. And our goal in participating was to train researchers or research infrastructure scientists in innovation and technology development. So this is also very close to our heart. I said before, we are also a member of the VIB core facilities program. And this means that, of course, we were very eager to participate in such a proposal where, in this case, EMBL, and I will very shortly also show how SciLife Lab, the other partner, has done it, has set up the proposal. It's a postdoctoral program. For EMBL, it's called ARISE 2. And as you see, there are two main activities. One is targeted for the postdoctoral fellows to increase their research expertise by these research projects, and Mark has extensively elaborated on how this could work. There's of course very strong supervision after a successful proposal by the PI at EMBL. But very importantly, and this we found very good in that proposal, that there are many partners, I think around 20, I just need to look in the numbers, around 20 associated partners, and we are one of them, where there have been set up the possibility to have very intense collaborations, and also, as has been sketched before by Mark, these secondment opportunities. So we were very happy to have these options with the secondment opportunities in proposals. One fellow could work primarily at EMBL in Heidelberg or in Rome or in Hamburg, but then would be detached, so to say, for up to 11 months to work with VIB Technologies. The idea is there, of course, to have future research infrastructure scientists trained. So that's really very important. So working in these labs and in the core facilities to really get the right training, and not only the technology-driven training, but also complementary training, as you see here, by other scientific courses, webinars, lectures, summer schools. So this is the short summary of that proposal. And the same goes for SciLife Lab. So we have also very good contacts with SciLife Lab. This is a quite busy slide, but you appreciate already that all these all these proposals are quite extensive in preparation time. Here, the idea is to have roughly 48 fellows as well, whereby 16 would be more towards the entrepreneurial track, and 32 would be more towards the fundamental research infrastructure training track. And also here in this Pulse program from SciLife Lab, there's a very, very strong component of training, as you see here in the middle. This setup is a little bit different, and SciLife Lab is not one legal entity. So they have 9 implementing universities in Sweden. And again, I need to look it up, 24 partners as well. So it's also quite a big partnership. Now, what's in for VIB? Because this was the question which Margot has asked me. We are also in a lot for the development of research infrastructure scientists, in having future leaders of core facilities, but also future staff, future operators of core facilities, and also have a very strong component on technology development, because without technology development, the technology servicing would stand still. So these are the aspects we are really very keen on. And this is possible with such a project, that there is dedicated training and upskilling. There is a specific funding mechanism, not necessarily for us, but via our partners, in the network, we would have access to these fellows as well, if I may say so. We are very keen, obviously, on interdisciplinary research because this is the future. And more importantly, here on the right side, this is really enabled by having these dedicated projects from these co-fund proposals. Again, I said the two partners, but you've seen them before. So our goal is really to go into this technology development and have innovation in our business related to new technological advances, which then will fly back, which will then funnel back into the research output of VIB's research community. Now, how did it work regarding the process? Of course, we are associated partners, so we didn't write this very, very long document. So Mark said that you saw all this description. So it's quite a tedious project. So I think the project leaders at SciLife Lab and at EMBL had a really, really large work of chunk in front of them. So for us, it was good that we were invited. Why we have been invited? Because we are part of, for instance, the Core for Life network. So life sciences core facilities. So that, of course, made this initial contact very easy. We were involved in the review of the proposal. So we had some chats with the colleagues from EMBL who were writing the proposal. And obviously, internally, we had our managing director and also the VIB technology directors who were at the end of the road, also, of course, also in favor of this proposal before it has been sent in or handed in by either EMBL or SciLife Lab for the call in 2023. So it's, of course, important that you have good connections, but also that you have really internal support to be part of this big endeavor if it's successful. Now, some tips and tricks, because there were some questions which have been shared before by the colleagues very quickly. And some of the questions have more or less already a little bit touched on by Mark, but maybe I can elaborate from our side once more from our perspective. So the consortium obviously strives for excellent matches within this consortium of this collaboration, because these projects of the fellows at EMBL or at SciLife Lab really should have this component of secondment. So this is the matchmaking procedure as such is, of course, very important. The first activity which has been done in both cases at the scenario of ARISE 2, so EMBL, there are 3 calls for postdoctoral fellowships. For the SciLife Lab, there are 2 calls. But obviously, you need to make this visible to the world. So there were and there will be announcements for the specific calls of these fellowships. So that's also important, which we would then amplify also in our networks via LinkedIn, via social media, other communication channels. And then also it's important to have matchmaking activities, because this kind of project, of course, is about the fellow, yes, but you also want to have very good connections between the organizations on the longer run. So really like a step up in intensifying inter-organizational research. And this is why we are also keen on. So there are, depending on the 2 flavors, a little bit fellow and post matchmaking afterwards as well. So it's not only in the phase. Of course, you heard the phase before is very independent before the proposal has been agreed on, or not agreed on, sorry, approved on via the selection procedure. But later on, of course, you want to have also interactions between the partners. And this is also what should be in a way be facilitated by the main beneficiary. Fellows and secondments, of course, these secondments are part of the proposal, but are not fixed in the beginning of the proposal of the fellowship. So this means that this could also change, and this means also that these type of activities within the network, within the consortium, no, within the network, are really important, that from time to time you meet each other in person or online, so that you have really also this kind of exchange and see where opportunities arise, so that for this 3-year fellowship, maybe 1 year in the 3rd year, so say, could be spent in one partner or another one. So I think that's really also quite important. Now, just as a side-by-side comparison to round up here, ARISE 2, so that's the EMBL proposal and granted proposal, of course. For each call, they have developed extensive documentation, which is available on their website. If these slides are shared, here is the link, but of course you can also just look it up on internet. EMBL has their one supervisor, and the setup is as such that they are also happy to have an external collaborator on the longer run in the partnership as the supervising body, so to say, for the fellowship. And what is very important, you see it coming back in both proposals, each of the beneficiaries make an extensive document, they call it portfolio of PIs and secondment options, where you can see the list of all the people involved at the beneficiary, but also at all the partner organizations. So this is also very big documents where the fellows can skim through and find their way of own matchmaking, so to say, regarding to the topic, but see also the breadth of the opportunities. And again, this is an interesting topic, and there are many questions on how you organize this type of independent selection. In both proposals, fellows are encouraged to engage, but really clearly stating each time what also Mark said, there needs to be a clear rationale. Because otherwise, of course, yeah, as he also said, this is getting into some preferential approach, and that's not the idea of the whole setup. And here you see also EMBL is stating that there's no letter of support of a PI needed. So it's really clearly stated that this should be really an independent selection procedure. And that's it. So if you have other questions, I'm here now. And if you want to reach me by mail, my mail is here in the bottom of the slide. Thank you.